Hi, I'm Marcus. 3 weeks ago, my father died after a long battle with cancer. Dad was everything to me. A successful businessman, loving parent, and the kind of man who built something from nothing. He owned a construction company that bore his name, Robert Mitchell and Sons. That Sons part? That was supposed to be me and my older brother, Derek. Marcus, you need to sit down for this, Linda said, setting her briefcase on my kitchen table. She'd been Dad's attorney for 20 years, and the worry lines on her face told me something was seriously wrong. What's going on? I asked, pulling out a chair. Your father's will. When I drafted it 2 years ago, everything was split 50-50 between you and Derek. The company, the house, his savings, all of it divided equally. Okay, so what's the problem? Linda pulled out a document. This is a new will, dated 3 months ago. It leaves everything to Derek. 100%. My stomach dropped. What? That's impossible. Dad wouldn't. That's what I thought too. But it gets worse. Linda flipped to another page. This signature doesn't look right to me. I've seen your father sign hundreds of documents, Marcus. This one? The pressure's all wrong. The loops are different. You think Derek forged it? I think your father was heavily medicated 3 months ago. Stage 4 cancer, remember? He was on morphine, barely conscious most days. I felt my hands forming fists. Derek was the only one visiting him then. I was in Seattle closing that project Dad assigned me. Exactly, and there's more. Linda opened her laptop. I pulled the company records. Derek transferred your father's business into his name only, changed the registration to Derek Mitchell Construction 2 weeks before your father died. He removed Robert Mitchell and Sons entirely. He can't do that. Dad built that company. His name. Derek also filed paperwork to legally change his name to Robert Derek Mitchell Jr. He's claiming he's entitled to carry on your father's legacy as Junior. Our father's name? He's taking Dad's actual name? The legal documents went through last week. He's officially Robert Derek Mitchell Jr. Now. My phone buzzed. Derek's name flashed on the screen. I answered on speaker. Little brother, just wanted to let you know I'm moving into Dad's house next week. Derek's voice dripped with false cheerfulness. Since it's mine now, I figured I should make it official. Linda's here, Derek. She told me about the will. Silence. Then, oh, well, Dad knew what he wanted. He trusted me to run the business. You were always better with the hands-on stuff anyway. The will's a forgery. Careful, Marcus. That's a serious accusation. Dad was clear-minded when he made his final wishes known. He was on morphine and barely conscious. You weren't there, were you? Off in Seattle, chasing your own projects, while I took care of our dying father. Maybe that's why he chose me. Linda cut in. Derek, this is Linda Reeves. I drafted Robert's original will. This new one raises significant legal questions. Then I guess we'll see what a judge says. But I've got the signed will, the business in my name, and Dad's house. Good luck proving otherwise. He hung up. I stared at Linda. He stole everything. The business, the house, the money. And now he's stolen Dad's name too? We need to act fast, Linda said. I'm filing a challenge to the will tomorrow. But Marcus, I need you to find proof. Talk to the hospice nurses, anyone who was around your father those last months. We need witnesses. What about the name change? Linda smiled grimly. That's where we hit him hardest. If we prove he manipulated your father and forged documents, we can challenge his right to that name legally. Your father earned that legacy. Derek just stole it. The next morning, I drove to Sunset Hospice, where Dad spent his final weeks. Nurse Rachel Chen had been Dad's primary caregiver, and she agreed to meet me during her break. Your brother? Rachel's expression darkened as we sat in the garden. Marcus, I'm so glad you came. I've been losing sleep over this. Tell me everything. Your father was barely conscious those last 6 weeks. The morphine doses were high. He needed them for the pain. But your brother Derek kept bringing papers, asking him to sign things. What kind of papers? Legal documents. I saw them a few times. Your father couldn't even hold the pen properly. Derek would literally put the pen in his hand and move it across the paper. My blood ran cold. Are you saying Derek forced Dad to sign? I'm saying your father wasn't mentally competent to sign anything. I told Derek that multiple times. He'd just smile and say, Dad knows what he's doing. But Marcus, your father thought I was his mother half the time. He didn't know what he was signing. Would you testify to that? Absolutely. Your father was a good man. What Derek did, it's not right. My next stop was Uncle James, Dad's older brother. He lived an hour north but answered immediately when I called. Marcus, I've been hoping you'd call. Get up here. We need to talk. Uncle James's living room was filled with photos of Dad from over the years. He poured us both coffee and sat down heavily. Your brother's been calling me, asking me to back him up about the will, Uncle James said. And? I told him to go to hell. Marcus, your father called me 4 months ago. We talked for an hour. You know what he said? James, I'm splitting everything 50-50 between my boys. Derek runs the business side. Marcus handles the projects. They'll be perfect partners. Those were his exact words. Did he mention changing the will? Never. Not once. And then Derek calls me last week saying Dad wanted me to have everything. That's garbage. Rob loved you both equally. Derek legally changed his name to Robert Derek Mitchell Jr. Uncle James's coffee cup slammed down. He what? Your father hated that junior-senior stuff. He always said, a man makes his own name, doesn't inherit it. Rob would be furious. That's why I'm fighting this, all of it. What do you need? Your testimony. Phone records from Dad's call. Anything showing Dad's real intentions. You've got it. And Marcus, there's something else. Your father set up a trust fund years ago. Equal shares for both of you, completely separate from the will. Derek doesn't know about it because Rob kept it private. It's not huge, but it proves his intent to treat you equally. I met with Linda that afternoon at her office. She'd been busy. I found the notary who supposedly witnessed the new will, Linda said. Guy named Tom Preston. I called him, and he got very nervous very quickly. What did he say? At first, he insisted everything was legitimate, but when I mentioned potential fraud charges and questioned whether he actually verified your father's mental state, he started backtracking. I just notarized what was in front of me, he said. Derek told me his father understood everything. So he didn't actually verify Dad's competency? Exactly. A notary has a legal obligation to ensure the signer understands what they're signing. Tom admitted he was in the room for less than 5 minutes. Your father was unconscious when he arrived. Derek woke him up just long enough to make a mark on the paper. That's elder abuse, and fraud, and forgery. I'm building a case, Marcus, but we need more. The trust fund your uncle mentioned, that's gold. It shows clear pattern of equal treatment. But we need someone from the company, too. Someone who can testify about Derek's character and actions. I thought about it. Sarah Peterson. She's been Dad's office manager for 15 years. She knows everything. Call her, today. Sarah met me at a coffee shop near the office. She looked exhausted. I quit this morning, she said immediately. I couldn't work for Derek another day. What happened? He changed everything. Fired half the staff your father trusted, brought in his own people. Then he told me to destroy all the old files. Partnership agreements, your father's notes, everything showing you were supposed to be co-owner. Did you? Sarah smiled. I made copies of everything first, flash drives in my car. Every document showing your father intended you and Derek to be equal partners. Every email where Derek complained about having to share the business. Every memo where your father praised your work. Sarah, you're amazing. Your father was good to me. Derek's a snake. He actually told me yesterday that he earned the right to be called Robert Jr. because he sacrificed to take care of your father. I wanted to throw my coffee at him. I'm taking him to court, all of this. Will you testify? Honey, I'll sing it from the rooftops. Linda scheduled a mediation meeting before the court hearing. Standard procedure. Derek showed up with his own lawyer, Rick something or other, looking smug in an expensive suit. Marcus, Derek said, extending his hand. I didn't take it. Derek, his lawyer cleared his throat. Gentlemen, let's keep this civil. Derek has proposed a settlement. He'll give Marcus $200,000 to drop all challenges. The estate's worth over $3 million, Linda said coldly, plus the business, which generates $500,000 annually. The business is Derek's, Rick countered. The name change is legal and final. I leaned forward. Let's talk about that name change. Junior. Tell them why Dad called Uncle James 4 months ago. Derek's smile faltered. I don't know what you're talking about. Really? Because Uncle James recorded the conversation. Dad said, I'm splitting everything 50-50 between my boys. Your exact words were recorded too, Derek. Dad wanted me to have everything. Rick looked at Derek. You told me your father explicitly chose you. He did. He signed the will. After you drugged him and moved his hand across the paper, I shot back. Nurse Rachel Chen is testifying. She watched you do it. Dad didn't even know who she was that day. He thought she was his mother. Derek stood up. You can't prove any of this. Sit down, Derek, Linda said. We have the notary's statement. Tom Preston admitted you woke your unconscious father just to get a signature. That's elder abuse and fraud. That's ridiculous. Dad was clear-minded. Then why did you tell Sarah Peterson to destroy all the partnership documents? I asked. The ones showing Dad intended us to be equal partners? Derek's face went red. Sarah's a disgruntled employee. She's lying. She kept copies, every single document, every email where you complained about sharing, every memo where Dad praised my work and planned to make us co-owners officially. Rick was looking through papers Linda had provided. Derek, these emails. Shut up, Rick. Don't tell your lawyer to shut up, Linda said. He's realizing you lied to him. That puts his license at risk. Derek pointed at me. You were never there. I took care of Dad while you were off playing construction worker. I earned that inheritance. You forged a will and stole our father's name. I'm carrying on his legacy. You destroyed his legacy. I stood up too. Dad built that company to pass to both of us. Robert Mitchell and Sons, that meant something. You turned it into your personal toy and slapped Junior on your name like you're somehow him. You're not him, Derek. You'll never be him. Derek lunged across the table. You little... Security grabbed him before he could reach me. He was screaming, face purple with rage. Get off me. That business is mine. That name is mine. I'm Robert Mitchell Jr., and nobody's taking that from me. Actually, Linda said calmly, we're petitioning the court to revoke your name change on grounds of fraud. You obtained everything through illegal means. That includes the name. Derek stopped struggling. You can't do that. We can and we will. Your father earned that name through 40 years of honest work. You stole it. Rick gathered his papers. Derek, I'm withdrawing as your counsel. This is fraud, pure and simple. Rick, wait. Find another lawyer, one who doesn't mind being disbarred. Rick walked out. Security was still holding Derek. He looked at me, and suddenly the rage disappeared. His eyes got wet. Marcus, please. We're brothers. Dad would want us to work this out. I'm sorry, okay? I panicked. Dad was dying, and I made mistakes. But we can fix this. We can split everything right now, be partners like Dad wanted. I walked up until I was a foot away from him. Dad did want us to be partners, equal partners, but you stole that from both of us. You manipulated our dying father. You forged documents. You took his name, the name he built, and pretended you earned it. I said I'm sorry. I don't care. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. Marcus, I'm your brother. My brother died the day you forged that will. You're just a thief wearing his face. The court hearing happened 3 weeks later. Judge Morrison reviewed everything. The medical records, Rachel's testimony, Uncle James's phone recording, Sarah's documents, the notary's statement. Derek's new lawyer tried to argue that the signature was legitimate, but the handwriting expert destroyed that theory in 10 minutes. Your Honor, this signature shows clear signs of assisted writing, the expert testified. The pressure is inconsistent. The tremors indicate the signer was either unconscious or heavily medicated, and several strokes suggest another person was guiding the pen. Derek sat silently next to his lawyer, all the fight gone from him. Judge Morrison's ruling was swift. The will dated 3 months prior to Robert Mitchell's death is hereby declared null and void. The original will shall be recognized as the legitimate final testament. All assets will be divided equally between Marcus Mitchell and Derek Mitchell. Linda leaned over. That's round one. Now for the name. The judge continued. Furthermore, the petition to revoke Derek Mitchell's name change is granted. The evidence clearly shows that the petitioner obtained assets through fraudulent means, including the appropriation of his father's business and name. Legal precedent supports revoking name changes obtained through illegal activity. Derek's head snapped up. Your Honor, please, Mr. Mitchell, you manipulated your dying father, forged documents, and committed fraud. You don't get to keep the rewards of that fraud, including a name you didn't earn. Effective immediately, you are Derek Mitchell, not Junior, not Robert, just Derek. But the business will revert to its original name, Robert Mitchell and Sons, both sons, equal partners. After court, Uncle James grabbed me in a bear hug. Your dad would be proud. Sarah came up next. I start back Monday as your office manager, emphasis on your plural. Derek was standing by the courthouse steps, alone. His lawyer had left quickly. As I walked past, he called out, Marcus, wait. I stopped, but didn't turn around. I know what I did was wrong. I was scared and stupid, and I destroyed our relationship. But maybe someday, maybe we could... I turned around then. Someday what, Derek? Be brothers again, work together, pretend this never happened? We're still family. Family doesn't forge wills. Family doesn't steal from dying fathers. Family doesn't take everything and expect forgiveness when they're caught. I'll go to therapy. I'll make it right. Just give me a chance. No. Marcus, you wanted it all, Derek. You wanted the business, the money, the house, even Dad's name. You wanted to erase me completely. Well, congratulations. You erased yourself instead. From this family, from the business, from everything Dad built. So what? You're just going to cut me out? No. I'm going to do what Dad wanted. Split everything 50-50. You'll get your half of the money, your share of the business profits. But I'm running the company. Your name comes off the door, off the website, off everything. You can cash the checks from whatever hole you crawl into. That's not fair. Fair, I stepped closer. Fair was splitting everything equally from the start like Dad planned. You chose different. Now you live with it. Linda joined me. The paperwork's ready. Derek gets his 50% of assets but surrenders all business control and decision-making to Marcus. Take it or we go back to court and add criminal charges. Derek looked between us. Finally, he nodded and walked away. 3 months later, I stood in front of the restored sign, Robert Mitchell and Sons, the original design Dad commissioned 20 years ago. Uncle James pulled up. Looks good. Feels right. Your dad's looking down right now with the biggest grin. I hope so. I'm running the company like he wanted. Honest work, fair deals, building things that last. And Derek? Deposited his first profit check yesterday, didn't say a word. You really never want to reconcile? I thought about it, looking up at Dad's name. Some betrayals don't get second chances. Dad built something meaningful with his name. Derek tried to steal it. I took it back, not for revenge, but because Dad earned the right to have his legacy protected. That's not revenge, Marcus, that's justice. Maybe, but justice tastes pretty sweet. What would you do if someone tried to steal your family's legacy? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more true stories about family drama and getting even.